How you doing now?
Well, I've got you in the room, but I still don't see you, Phil. I'm so
You still don't
sorry.
see me?
No, I'm sorry, I don't.
Wow. Let me see. I see that. I see this.
Hey,
Okay.
oh, there you go. Okay, now I see you.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
How you doing?
Well, I'm so glad we got past this. I don't know what, it wouldn't let me unclick that camera before, but it did now. So
Okay, so let me officially introduce you, and forgive me if I don't pronounce your name correctly. You're Mr. Phil Lomedico?
no, Lomedico.
Lomedico. Okay, all right.
Lomedico.
Okay, good. Well, it's very nice to meet you. Thank you for joining us. I appreciate it, and I'm glad we were able to get through the uh, the camera bug. And I've been reading about you, and I see your website. It's a pretty nice website.
Thank you.
Um, can you tell me a little bit about, first of all, Prohitter, the product, and how did you come up with the idea?
Sure. The product has gone through many evolutions from the time that I came up with the very simple version of this, which was when I was in college playing for the University of Miami. I was probably the first victim of the aluminum bat because it just got legalized for use in 1974. So in the fall of 73, we were using aluminum bats. And if you hit the ball off the handle of the aluminum bat because it didn't break, it jammed the bat back down to the base of your thumb where there are some serious nerves there. So it took me literally 1 week to have a very severe injury to the point where if I didn't create something that could alleviate the pain, by Monday, my baseball career was over. Here I was on a full scholarship on a team that would wind up being #1 in the country that year. And in 1 week, I was an also ran. I might also add that I played spring training with the Dodgers in '73. They helped me get my scholarship to Miami as a free agent, and they experimented. Most people would never know this. It's a real trivia question. They experimented with the aluminum bat in professional baseball, only for the AA and AAA and A-ball teams. They didn't use it in the games, in the spring training games for AAA, but the guys used it in BP at AAA. The AA and the A players used it in the spring training games. That was it. The only time he ever did it, obviously, aluminum bat never made it past that point with pro baseball. But that fall, they had legalized the bat for the NCAA. And although I used wood during the season to save my wood bats from cracking, because I liked wood better than aluminum, to get something real personal, I I would try to save the bats. And I found out the byproduct of the aluminum bat is this injury. We were working out with major league pitchers that lived in the area would throw BP to us. And they were showing off always, Lou. I mean, they had to show us how fast they were. Batting practice, you expected to be a 70-mile-an-hour fastball. And you hit against some guy that throws 90 miles an hour without even trying. It's you're going to get jammed and you're going to get an injury. And I developed the injury. And over that weekend, I spent about 50 hours devising my simple version of what is Prohitter today. But about 3 in the morning Sunday night, I was like in one of those eureka moments where I could see that the bat was in the position that I wanted to grip the bat in, and that I had a very good feeling that the injury was going to be protected. Monday, I took batting practice with the team, and a couple of line drives later, without pain, I said, okay, I solved the problem. I wore this my rest of my baseball career. That Miami team went to the College World Series championship game for the first time. We went to the College World Series, and we had the second longest winning streak in the history of college baseball, which was 26 games, I believe. And it was wonderful because Miami never, everything was the first time for all of us.
I've got a million questions. I'm just sitting here thinking, what an icon. So as I was researching your product, and I of course I played a little ball in high school and such, but we never had that sort of thing. I mean, I wish I would have, maybe it would have helped my hitting, but I never knew that, holding a bat in your fingers was the way to hit. I didn't know that. I just automatically use the old style, just grab a bat. So, but as I was reading on your blog, I wondered, did you have to overcome some rules from the Major League Baseball or
Great
college?
question, fabulous question. And before I even applied for the first patent, I said, I better find out if this is going to be a game legal product, because if it's not, I'm wasting my time here.
Sure.
So I actually had access to a very famous Major League crew chief umpire from the National League, which I don't want to drop his name because I'm sort of respectful about dropping people's names. But somebody that knew him personally said, well, let me go check. I know this guy, and let me ask him. So they went up to the umpire and they said, hey, we're looking to develop this product. We want to know if it would be legal. And he says, well, what does it do? And he said, well, it protects the area at the base of your thumb from bone bruises and batting sting. And it also facilitates gripping the bat properly, which is the way you're instructed to grip the bat more out in your fingers, in the top hand and the bottom hand. So he said, well, we'll check the rule book. And he goes to the rule book, and right in, I think, page 3A, it says the bat. And it says you can add anything to your hand or to the bat handle from the knob to 18 inches up. He says, this product is legal. I said, what do you mean? He goes, just because you're manufacturing it doesn't change. The rule says you can put a pad on your hand, you can put a pad on the bat handle. So this is within the rules. So go ahead. So that was where, once I saw that, I said, okay, wow. They just had a general rule about adding a pad to the batter's hand, as long as you don't, or the bat handle. So that set me off on the course on this. And obviously all the years that right now, 75% of the Major League ball players or more are using Prohitter in games. So therefore, nobody has said, hey, that's illegal, take it off. Believe me, they would stop the superstars. The who's who of Major League Baseball used to think if they were using something that was in question, it would be stopped.
Absolutely, absolutely. So as this process and procedure evolved, and with the positive results, obviously you've got a trademark or that obviously that belongs to you. The
Prohitter, various trademarks.
Yeah. And I also was researching, it looks like there was one other product that maybe your only competitor, and that's Thumper.
I don't want to talk about these other products, but obviously when you get successful to the degree that Prohitter, you got to expect people to try to capture your market as well. The one thing I could say though is I had either suggested to me or I thought of myself any variation of this product. The cool thing about Prohitter is the unique shape of the product. If you look at it, it's really closely, say, wow, it's got a lot of curves and angles, but the thumb becomes sort of like an axis, an axis point. So by moving it slightly to the left or the right, you could find a position where it feels very comfortable for you.
Right.
And that's what the beauty of the product. So within the size range, we make it in 3 sizes: adult, mid-size, and youth. And it's definitely going to feel like it was made for you. That was the beauty of the shape of this. So I gotta expect it's, what do they say? To imitate someone is the greatest form of flattery. But when somebody makes something that stays in the exact same position, it would be sort of like the seat of your car. You can't adjust it.
Sure.
The whole thing about Prohitter is like you can change the position of it so many ways. Matter of fact, there's a Major League Baseball player on the Boston Red Sox that he wears it on his index finger. Now, I didn't design it and didn't think that that's what would happen, but I can see why it works for him. It's just that side of his index finger, the base of his index finger, he wants to protect that area. instead of the base of the thumb. But definitely, it goes with the territory that if you have something that's successful, people are going to try to copy you. And the cool thing about Prohitter, we do have several patents on it. We have trademarks on the word Prohitter, on the design for the artwork. It's a custom compound, very expensive, a pain in the neck to injection mold with it. But when you get a good product that comes off the line, it's perfect. It's perfect for what this resin is supposed to do, and it's very durable. Some people have used the Prohitter for 2 years, and they say, "Hey, Phil, you're not really a good businessman. It lasts too long." And I said, I want somebody to get a real good value out of it. After a while, they get pretty dirty, and if you don't have some hits with it, you want to throw it away and get a new one. And I do have to admit, it's pretty easy to lose. So I would rather the consumer not be angry at me. I gave them a great value. They just couldn't hold on to their product.
I gotcha. Well, you and I are in the same neighborhood age-wise, I would say. And I remember the conflict in baseball whenever colleges were talking about metal bats and wooden bats, and you addressed that initially. And I'm sort of wondering what prevented Major League Baseball from going to metal bats as well, since it was already in the NCAA.
I got the answer for you. That's, again, another excellent question. The aluminum bat would change all the statistics to Major League Baseball.
Okay.
Because when you hit the ball off the handle of a wood bat, the bat would break. You could literally hit the ball off the handle of an aluminum bat, and it might even be a home run. So that changes the numbers right there. And also the distance that a ball travels off of an aluminum bat is further than the distance it traveled off of a wood bat. So again, statistics are everything. And baseball, that's why when the players did things to enhance themselves and all of a sudden they started hitting 78 and 80 homers and things like that, you don't hear about those records anymore, because really that's not the game. Those records weren't real. So aluminum bat that could hit 100 home runs also, that wouldn't really do much for the game.
So let me ask you this then, Phil. In view of that, since statistics are so much different in college as opposed to major leagues, when you're scouting a player, how do you adjust for that metal wood?
Well, first of all, now they have wood bat leagues because what you're saying became a problem.
Yeah.
They couldn't evaluate the players properly, so they started to have wood bat leagues for the exact reason of what you're talking about. But definitely, you just have to accept. You had to accept that the aluminum bat was enhancing the productivity of a ball player because of the fact that the ball went further, the bat didn't break. I mean, I know when I played using an aluminum bat, I literally remember many times that I got jammed, hit the ball off the handle of the aluminum bat, and got a line drive base hit. That would have destroyed the wood hit bat. The bat would have disintegrated, but I wound up with a base hit, or even a double, a triple. So definitely, it's a different game with the aluminum bat, and the statistics are different.
So I'm assuming, and please forgive me, I'm not in the corporate world, but I'm assuming, I'm assuming that every major league team has contact with you about purchasing this item, your product.
You know what I love? I do a number of interviews, and I love when I just get questions from a person like yourself that I never get from someone else. And it's like astonishes me that nobody ever asked me that question before. And I get the questions from somebody else that I say, I never got that question before. Here's how it is. Initially, when I started this with Prohitter, I went to the trainers. I knew that they knew guys that had the injury. So I said, this is this product. This is what it does. I'll give you some samples. Right away, they gave it to players that had the injury, and they loved it. The real popularity of the product came from the grip technique, which is the grip bat, if you can see me, out in the fingers, like that. The product takes up the space back here. So when you hit the ball and you get jammed, it can't go back here. That injury for me, watch this. Here's where I knew I wanted to grip the bat. Now I hit it and watch. Can you see that?
Yes.
It got jammed here.
Yes.
So if I create something to maintain the grip position and also protecting the thumb, it was a wonderful dual accomplishment from the product. So first we started getting orders from the individual teams for guys that had the injury. And then I started to go to spring training camps and talk to the biggest stars in the game. And I was pretty confident in myself, because even though I never played a day of Major League Baseball, I did go far enough that I could have easily, if I didn't get injured. I mean, when you bat 354 for the #1 team in the country, and you play spring training for the teams, there's so many guys that they get injured at the wrong time. I knew a guy in AAA that hit 38 home runs 3 years in a row. He never played a day in the Major League Baseball. It's just whatever the circumstances didn't happen. So there's a lot of guys that are also ran for, they get hurt their arm at the wrong time. In my case, I fractured my wrist, and I went from being an incredible prospect to, he was once a good prospect. So, but when I talked to the ball players, I had total confidence. I said, look, man, I didn't get to do what you're doing, but I consider myself on your level. So let me tell you about this product, and then you can do what you want. And I told them, this is going to make gripping the bat consistent, the way you want to grip it. And if the guy had an injury and he was a great player, I said, show me where your injury is. And he would go here. I go, and where do you want to grip the bat? And he goes, here. I said, so somewhere between starting your swing and hitting the ball, the bat has moved. If you put this on and you grip the bat and then you hit it, you can't get back there. So it keeps the grip where you'd like to have it throughout the swing. The ball players rejected this Prohitter product at first because they were not used to really gripping the bat properly. So this is like a school teacher that says, sit up in your chair, Johnny. Yeah. And it's right there 24/7 when you're hitting, maintaining your grip position. So if you're not really mentally prepared to grip the bat properly, this is going to be annoying. Not the product that's annoying, it's gripping the bat properly. Yeah. But when you get used to gripping the bat properly, you've got this wonderful facilitator giving you the consistency and protecting your hand. And that is why over time, and by the way, I kept improving the product, the shape, the materials I made it from. And every time I did that, I saw the product become more popular with Major League Baseball. And today it's just out of control. It's the ultimate entrepreneur's dream to go from an idea to have 75%, and nobody is paid to use it, nobody's schmoozed.
Yeah. Let me ask you a question, because in your demonstration there of grabbing that little bat, have you thought about, now this is an idea, I don't know if you ever thought of this, I bet you have, but have you ever thought about doing this for golf?
That has been suggested many times, but here's the answer on that. In golf, there are different types of grips, weak grip and strong grip. In some golf grips, this product would interfere with it. It would be cumbersome, okay? And number two, very important, it's a great question also, because the answer is very important. It would be illegal in a game of golf to wear this.
Okay.
And I don't want any confusion on this. This is game legal for Major League Baseball. 75% of the pros use it. It's illegal for golf. It interferes with different grips in golf. Okay. So it's not a golf product. I have created products that have nothing to do with the grip technique factor of this product that are for golf. They're totally different, but I'm a golfer, and this has nothing to do with golf. But I do know some players that do wear it for golf, but I strongly suggest that you don't.
Okay. So, and then another thing that came to mind while we were talking is, you know how baseball players, they're sort of like, if they're on a run, they don't want to change anything. Like, they're superstitious. Have you ever had one of a person that says they just won't bat without your product, or they don't want to use your product because they're superstitious?
Okay, well, I never imposed upon anyone to use it. And matter of fact, after I introduced it initially for the first few years, I stopped talking to the ball players. You asked me about how they get them in major league teams. At first, the teams bought them from me. Then I started to do business with the distributors that the major league teams bought from all the time, sports medicine companies. So we do business with a number of them that are constantly feeding major league baseball teams. Now it's so big in major league baseball. If I told you that they might buy like 50,000 pro hitters for major league baseball and pro baseball a year, that's a lot of pro hitters wholesale.
Wow.
But it's very popular. And the ball players, going back to the other question, as far as resistance to the product, we don't try to talk anybody into using it anymore. It's so popular, we don't have to do that anymore.
Sure.
It's on its own. It keeps growing. It's at a large number. 75% is obviously a large number. It might be more than that now.
Yeah.
One of the stories I do want to share, and I am going to be a name dropper here. John Olerud, one year, way back when, was really moving in on the 400 batting average. 3/4 into the year, he was like 390. August, he's batting 390. And he wore this product all the time. He got it from the trainer, Tommy Craig from the Blue Jays, who's a close friend of mine to this day. And so John Olerud, all of a sudden, I'm watching a game against the Boston Red Sox, and he doesn't have this on his thumb. He doesn't have it on his thumb. And by the way, he went 0 for 4 in the game. And so I said, oh my God, he must be out of them. And so I'm going to send him Federal Express stamp. And I wrote a very beautiful letter, which I think I still have. And I sent him some product samples. And I watched the rest of the season. And guess what? He never put it back on. And I didn't understand that. I didn't know if he actually received the FedEx. I sent it to Fenway Park, where he was on that Monday. And as fate would have it, he and I had lunch together at the Grand Hyatt in New York the next year. Somebody set that up. I think Tommy Craig set it up because he was with the Blue Jays still. And Olerud was at the Blue Jays at this time. And so I'm with John Olerud. And he couldn't have been nicer. We hit it off really, sweet guy. And I hope I'm likable. So we're having lunch together. And I said, hey, John, I want to know why you didn't wear Prohitter the rest of the season. I sent you FedEx product up to Fenway. And did you ever get it? And he nodded his head yes, in a sort of awkward way. And I said, then how come you didn't wear it? And he said to me, I thought you were taking credit for my hitting in your letter. So you ready for this? The way I am, I had the letter with me. I actually thought that he might somehow do that, even though there was no suggestion whatsoever. So I took the letter out and I said, really? I said, here. And I handed him the letter. I said, so I can be a better businessman? Can you tell me where I suggested that I was taking credit for your hitting in any way, shape, or form so I can learn my lesson here? He put his head down again. And I said, what's the matter? He goes, you weren't taking credit for my hitting. I was just being an idiot. He was being an idiot. He at the time, thought I was taking credit, but as he read the letter again, he realized I wasn't. And believe me, I was being very careful not to. But he dropped down from 388, never put it on again, and he batted 361 for the season, and he won the batting title. But I would like to know what would have happened if he kept the product on throughout the rest of the season. I'll never know, obviously, but that broke my heart. So what I've learned from these things, stay out of it. Don't bother these guys. You're gonna get you're damned if you do, damned if you don't.
I bet he would have finished over 400 if he'd have kept it on.
Well, you know what? The grip technique, again, the consistency you get, having the bat, this is the proper grip.
Yeah.
But you go to swing, the bat gets, just think about it, just the centrifugal force of trying to get the bat through the hitting zone, it goes back. It goes back in your hand automatically. Then you hit the ball and it pushes the bat. So you keeping the grip in the position you want to maintain it. That's why when it finally reached a certain point of the players, I remember one time I was around a very famous major league player and he goes, I'm uncomfortable with this. This thing is forcing me to grip the bat in my fingers. Maybe I should get used to that. So basically, as a group, they realized this is going to help you. And that's why they're using Prohitter, which is the way it looks like in the package.
Phil, this is a fascinating conversation. I really appreciate you joining, and I don't want to take up a lot of your time. But when you were a Hurricane, did you change the way you held the bat on your own?
Okay. I already had the excellent proper grip technique when I was playing at that level before I was at the Hurricanes. But as I said, I realized that the aluminum bat just jammed the bat handle back here. So I realized I couldn't keep the bat where I wanted to. And I took the injury. And how did I learn? You said no one showed you how to grip the bat properly. Although there were some coaches that I had that showed us how to grip the bat properly, the thing that really set me off in the right direction was there was a commercial in 1962 after Roger Maris hit 61 home runs in 1961. He got some really big endorsements. And this one was for a pen company that had 3 sizes of pens, paper made, thin, medium, and husky. The commercial starts up with a close-up picture of Roger Maris, whose hands are up close on the camera, bare hands, no batting gloves, and it says, in baseball, it's the grip that counts, ask Roger Maris. And I noticed that he was gripping the bat. You see the index finger, the space here? That not only is the bat out in your finger, it's diagonal out to the end. And to me, even at that young age, I was 10 years old, I said, oh, this is how he hits all these line drive home runs into the porch in Yankee Stadium. He turns his top hand over. It's a short distance. If you did it this way, watch my hand here. The big turn, short. Then I went to look at other pictures of players. Guess who else gripped the bat exactly that way? I had a close-up picture in a Time Life book, big book with great pictures. It had Babe Ruth, and Babe Ruth had the space. And I said, he hit a few homers too, didn't he? He looked funny running in those old grainy films, but his records were incredible, both as a pitcher and as a hitter. So I started to notice that an awful lot of hitters grip the bat that way. There is variations to that grip, but I think gripping it with that space really, really is something that I saw was really cool. And obviously, because this product facilitates that grip, because Prohitter facilitates that grip, I've sort of had a lot to do with many players emulating the Roger Maris, Babe Ruth grip. I saw a YouTube video with Robbie Alomar. I guess he's a batting instructor now for the Blue Jays. And he also was showing exactly that little distance. You see, this way there's no space between the index finger, but it's still in your fingers, this. And you see how you get more extension that way?
Yeah.
Like from here to here. So again, think about this. In pitching, the difference between a fastball and a changeup is a big difference in speed, but everything is the same except for in pitching, you place the ball back in your palm. The same motion, same mechanics. Fastball, you place it on your fingers. It's sort of the same concept. All that physics, leverage, creating bat speed, pitch speed is how you snap the ball or snap the bat handle. So if you're wearing this product, which is game legal, as you asked, and you know now, it's just going to give you great consistency. You know what it also reminds me of, Lou? When the baseball spikes really improved dramatically. There was a time when baseball spikes were pretty heavy, and then they got to the point where they were really lightweight and real sturdy. I remember in 1975, Adidas had given the University of Miami team, which had just was #1 in the country, they donated these baseball spikes. They wanted to get their Adidas spikes on their feet. They were amazing. I felt like I could run quite a bit faster. So all of these product changes really give the athlete an advantage.
Right.
And that's eventually maybe they get resisted, the ideas, but if it's a good idea over time, they're going to come back to it.
Yeah. Now, do you still keep up with college ball? Do you keep up with Miami and all?
I just went to a UM game a few weeks ago with actually Coach Redberry was the batting coach for the 74 team. And he and I reconnected again at Ron Fraser's funeral in 2013. So ever since then, I've been going to at least one UM game with Coach Berry a year. And I'm very involved with people from Major League Baseball. Tom Herr was one of the first people to wear the earliest manufactured version of this product. He is a very close friend. He owns 6% of Prohitter Corporation. And Mike Sosha was like the third player to use it. And so I have a number of guys that are from the history of this that became very good friends.
Yeah. Being a Ranger fan, I know about what's he doing now, by the way? He's not with the
Who's that?
anymore. The coach of the Angels.
Oh, Mike Sosha?
Yeah. What's he doing now?
Well, his last season in his contract, 20-year contract, he hasn't been either. I don't know if he's been asked, but he hasn't taken a job yet for a major league team. And if he wants to, I hope he gets it eventually. But he had 20 years as the Angels manager, and
yeah,
had a fabulous career.
Yeah, he was so successful though, but I'm sure he can rest for a couple of days if he wants to. So,
but you never know with these things. I hope if he wants to manage again more, I hope that he gets an opportunity.
Yeah, good deal. Well, I guess, Phil, and by the way, going back to the hitting, I guess that's why I never made it as a hitter, because I always thought the biggest thing was the turn, the way you turn at the plate instead of the way you hold the bat. So
let me tell you, every aspect in the hitting process is important. This is not the end all to hitting. If you're doing other things bad,
yeah,
this is not going to make you a great hitter. And if you're doing other things good, you need to have everything in alignment
yeah,
to execute. But the key thing about Prohitter is that, as I showed you, it's very easy for the bat to move out of the proper position, and you want to keep that. You're going to get the consistency of your grip technique. It's going to remain pure, and that's what makes this a wonderful product. It had to be legal, and it is legal, and it's made of the right material. And like I said, look at this product. If you can see this, some guys, if you see it on TV, they move the product up here because that means they only need this part. And there's other guys, if you watch Justin Turner, and I shouldn't be dropping a name, but I am, he wears it down low. And he's right-handed, so he wears it like this. But it's still, and probably he has a bone bruise down here. So he's trying to keep it, but you notice it's still going to keep the bat in the right position.
Sure.
So whether you keep it up here, it's a variance of a theme. To me, I wear it like this.
So,
Right like that, righty or lefty. It's interchangeable. By the way, it comes in 3 sizes, and it needs to be in 3 sizes because the medium size is totally different in conceptual than this. So 3 sizes, and again, it's one of those things that somebody might say, "Oh, it's so simple." Well, it's actually more complicated than the wheel. The wheel is pretty good attention.
Phil, and just to wrap up, what's the future for Prohitter? What's the future for the company?
The future for the company is that we have a lot of golf products that have nothing to do with the Prohitter concept that we'd like to bring out. But with every company, you have to reach a certain level of success that before you can diversify. It's sort of like having a little bit of a fire. If you put a second log in the fire before the first log is really burning nicely, it's going to put out the first log and smother the whole thing. Yeah. But every company starts out with one product that becomes financial success that allows them to diversify. When you have 75% of the Major League Baseball players batting with your product in games without being paid to, you would think that the consumer market would be banging the doors down to start to use Prohitter, because they're certainly not as good as the pros. Sure. So you want to get if the pros think they need this advantage to execute, then certainly every amateur player should be embracing the concept.
That makes sense. So I guess if I had a little league team and I wanted to buy your product, I guess I could just go to the website and do that, huh?
Well, you could do that, but obviously Dick's Sporting Goods has been selling Prohitter for 10 years. Okay. They sell it online. Okay. Big Five Sporting Goods, Modell Sporting Goods, Shields, D-Bats, East Bay, Baseball Savings, BasesLoaded.com. Anybody does a Google search, they're going to see tons of places you can buy Prohitter around the country. Okay. Key thing is you want to make a commitment to this product. If you put it on, I always love when people say, "Oh, it feels uncomfortable to me." It's not the product that you're uncomfortable. It's gripping the bat properly. That's because right. This will not allow you to put the bat back in that area anymore. It's taking up that space. You want the bat here. You see how easy that is? I don't know. Can you see how easy? It just automatically goes there. But if you're trying to put it here, people I see them trying to put it. No, that's not where it goes. Yeah. It's just squeeze the bat handle. It sets it up nicely. Have you noticed it on the hands of Major League Baseball players before, or it's just like a first thing to you?
No, I've never noticed it before, and I don't know why. I'm pretty observant, and I don't know why I've never noticed that before. Maybe well, I need to
guess it's like I guess it's like if you see a picture and they tell you there's 3 little mousies in the picture, and you never saw those mouse until somebody said, "Did you see the 3 mouse in the picture?" And they go, "One mouse," and you pointed out for the rest of your life, you see those mouse. Yeah, so probably when you watch a game now, you'll always notice.
I was about to say the next time I watch a baseball game, that's exactly what I'm gonna be looking for it. So. Well, Phil, thank you so much for touching base today. It was really, I enjoyed meeting you, and it was such an honor to talk about your product, and I look forward to talking with you in the future.
Oh, first of all, you're a real gentleman. Great questions, and it was a pleasure being with you.
All right, Phil, you take care, okay?
Okay, take care.
Bye-bye.